I have so many questions about charts and no one to help me. If only there was a place I could go to learn which doesn't cost a fortune.
There is such a place. It's my Patreon. It's £7.50 a month and you get 2 live streams a week. Ask me anything you like about any chart that you want.
What about trading platforms?
Well, in the video description I've got a link for all the best ones and you can get up to 20% off all your trading fees for life.
Thanks CryptoClick, you demand bro.
Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm going to have a look at XRP and I'm not saying that there's something amazing is going to happen, but there is something brewing on a daily chart which suggests that something could happen, alright? But we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, maybe a few more days, maybe a week, to see if the criteria is met. So first we'll start with a basic summary of XRP. So this is XRP on a monthly chart, right, on a log scale. So we can see that there's rhythm to this, and I expect that this rhythm continues to play out for probably the majority of its life, if not forever. It's a cycle. It's still a rinse and repeat cycle. Like I say, this is a monthly. This goes back to 2014, right? So we've got big move up, basically consolidation for the best part of 3 years. Big move up, consolidation for the best part of 3 years. Big move up, consolidation, and at the moment we're in the middle of this consolidation for the best part of, what, 3 years. So I marked this off here because this is, in my opinion, where the next massive, big, super huge move would take place. It's based on time anyway. I've made a whole video upon that, really, but it doesn't mean that we can't pump from these particular areas of significance. Anyway, we'll just get rid of that for the moment. We'll go to the Binance chart here. So this is Binance chart on the daily, so you can see that this is the latter stage. You know, we're on a daily here, but this is the last stage of this current descending triangle. It's slightly different here, while it's not being on the log scale with a lower, with a higher area of support. There is a chance that it comes back down to square one, back into the teens, right? And again, we're not under any illusion that it can't do that. We have to accept that it is at the mercy of the market, just like all the other altcoins out there. It doesn't matter how bullish they are, they're at the mercy of the market. The crypto market is in a downtrend, all driven by Bitcoin's health and Ethereum to an extent. So even though we can look at this and go, well, yeah, okay, yeah, blah, blah, it can obviously break down as a result of that. So let's have a look at what's bullish about this anyway. So we'll just zoom in a little closer. Well, we've got a nice uptrend of RSI momentum as far as support is concerned. This is the same with a lot of things right now. Supports are supports until they break. You know, it's an upwards momentum. You've got bearish divergence a little bit, but it's still upwards momentum of support. Anyway, that's not particularly bullish, but it's not bearish. The thing that we're looking for here is we're above most moving averages at this point forward. There's only one above us, which is our 200 exponential. Whether you're in a bull market or bear market, XRP likes to revisit that 200 exponential. You know, they are the best of friends, and they don't mind which side they're on, but they'd like to revisit, and that comes in at around 52 cents, right? So the thing that we're looking for is obviously an itchy cloud pump signal, like a lot of these coins are getting. They're getting them on 4 hourlies, 6 hourlies, 8 hourlies, 12 hourlies, and some are getting them on dailies. And if we were looking at XRP, the next stage of pump, the last stage, the fourth part of the criteria that we look for is then now our Chiku span to break and close outside of the cloud. If we were to stay at this current price action now, it would take 3 days, arguably 4 days, for that to close and confirm a pump signal. So just like all these other things have been doing, these pump signals, you know, they pump and then they fall off almost immediately after, because of the nature of the overall direction of this market, which is one of a massive downtrend. You don't need me to tell you that, you can see it for yourself. And so you look for the next major resistance. Now XRP did revisit this 40 already, and that's not far off, and you get a pump signal on a daily, even though we do think about where it's going to go to the next level of resistance. 8% from where we are right now is not a massive amount of pump. XRP can pump, believe it or not. You've probably not seen it, or if you have, you've missed out on it. It can pump, and so I'd be looking for more of a 40% move. That, you know, 30% ish, 40% up to that 200 exponential, basically 50 to 52. So if we think about XRP now, let's just have a little think about it. If you remember how it performs and remember where the supports and resistances are, you can have a look at where this, we'll call it 52 because that's more or less where it is. It's a lagging moving average there. It's not going to move too dramatically. We can see that there's been a lot of support stroke resistance around that level, even this super mega wick here, all around that 50 to 52 cent zone, right? So if we get the pump signal, we could easily pump up to that level. Now, I'm not suggesting that we go any further than that. And we haven't even got the signal yet. This is something we're going to keep our eye on. Remember to plan your trades before the day that it happens, right? I'm not saying enter the trades before it happens. You can't enter a trade through anticipation of a signal taking place, but it's worth looking at a chart and waiting for a signal to take place. That way you're not caught off guard. You've got allocated funds ready to go for it. You can supervise the rest of the market, blah blah blah. You know me, I like to plan my trades sometimes weeks or even months in advance. So this is something that's worthy of monitoring and to see if we get that signal, and then have a quick overview of the rest of the market, you know, see how that's going. But if we were to break above the 200 exponential, it would not at all surprise me if we melted all the way up to the top of the descending triangle. This is what's happened in the past. In the previous bear market for XRP, you have these big moves down, all the way down to their supports, and then rallies all the way up. Huge ones, 100% rallies. Another one down here, back down to support, big fat massive rally, and obviously breakdown at some point. So this is why I say you can't get too excited about, you know, coming down to these levels of supports, but you can get excited when you see pumps like this, especially when you know XRP like I do. You know, I like it because it's got a long history. You can look at how it's performed in its previous bull and bear markets. This is why people were calling me crazy when I was buying into XRP and telling everybody about how exciting it could be around these levels. They failed to recognize I mean, this is just a Binance chart, but they failed to recognize the rinse and repeat nature of XRP's market cycle. And for the record, that's the only time I ever bought XRP here. I made loads from derivatives on it, but it's the only time I ever bought. Well, it's not true. I bought a load at 3 cents years ago, but I don't really count that. And this is the only time I bought it from a spot position. And yeah, it worked out quite well. But at the time, people were going, "You're crazy, you're crazy." So I'm not looking for this kind of move. I'm really not looking for that kind of move. As we've said, you know, as I've shown at the beginning of this video, there is a market cycle for XRP. I expect that to continue, which basically means even when the bull market begins, if and when the bull market begins for crypto and Bitcoin later this year into next year maybe, XRP is probably going to stay, you know, very much within this triangle. It's going to, everything else will be pumping around it, and XRP is probably not going to be doing a great deal. But it doesn't mean they can't do something, you know, next week or the week after. And if it were to do that, we could very realistically entertain the idea of it coming up to the top of this descending triangle, a 100% move or so, you know, just like it did over here. You know, we were still very much in the, and I suppose in a way, this is kind of the same stage of the bear market that we are in right now. This is September, you know. We think about September, October, November, December, crushing event for crypto. So yeah, it's kind of matches in a way, but I think that's just anecdotal. It's not really anything to be excited about. What we should think about is that focus on the itchy cloud, wait for that signal to take place, monitor the overall market, see if it can sustain something like XRP doing a move like that. First of all, target a major resistance, which is going to be about 50 to 52 cents, and then the possibility, the very, you know, not unlikely, or should I say, I don't know how to put it really. I suppose it is unlikely, but it's not unrealistic possibility of it moving up to the top of this range. So we're talking like lower 70s, upper 70s, maybe even a poke outside of that. But to break outside of this giant descending trend line here, this huge descending triangle, is very unlikely because it doesn't do that at this stage. I mean, it could, but it would mean a very different change of behavior for XRP. And one that it's not, you know, ever done before. And I'm quite happy for it to consolidate within this, you know, even lag while the bull market's taking place, because it gives us an identical read as the last two that we've had in the past, back here in February, March 2017. Boosh, huge massive move. And again over here in July 20th, 2020. July 2020. So it's a rinse and repeat chart, really. I'm not suggesting that it's anything other than that, but it doesn't mean that we can't have big moves within these triangles as we've seen in the past. So let's just focus on the itchy cloud. We'll wait for that to happen. If it doesn't happen, no big deal. But if it does happen, it might be a move worthy of a little risk, despite everything in the market suggesting potentially otherwise, and to stay clear of altcoins as best as possible. But XRP can move. We've seen it many times, and yeah, we love it for that. So yeah, bring on the hate and bring on the love. I know it's a very divisive token over here, but it is what it is. But remember, I'm not telling you that the signal has been generated. I'm telling you that the signal could be generated in as little as 3 days. Keep an eye on it throughout the weekend into next week, see where we go, and yeah, look for that 50 to 52 cent zone, and see what happens after that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day and take it easy.